And right now, the way that Bitcoin's price is beginning to shape up here, it's looking extremely similar to every other point where we had the halving take place before breaking the previous all-time high, right? We have this area of higher lows along an upward sloping trend. We have the halving, and then we break the all-time high level. Same thing happened here. We have an upward sloping trend. We have the halving, we break the all-time high level. And right here, we have an upward sloping trend. And as you guys know in this channel, we've been looking for a standard routine correction back to the golden retrace. And we could be very likely looking for a standard upward sloping trend line before the halving and the all-time high break. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin Svenson. Today we're going to be discussing the price of Bitcoin going into the halving of 2020. A lot of people are wondering where the price of Bitcoin is going to be May of 2020 during the next halving. Now, if you guys have been watching this channel, we've been discussing over and over again for the past few months that Bitcoin was very likely to get a drop down to about $7,500. We did hit about $7,700. It looks like the market is seeing a little bit of support here, so there is a good chance that Bitcoin could be continuing this uptrend going into the halving of 2020, and we're going to be discussing what to look out for and where the price will most likely be during that time. Now, guys, before we get started, you got to click that link below. Create a free account on the CryptoWatch platform. It's the best platform for managing your entire crypto portfolio, and you can monitor every asset in the crypto market and manage your portfolio all from one platform. All right, guys, now we're looking at the price of Bitcoin right now, just a plain chart, just looking at the price right now, coming off of the last bull market and finding a low just above $3,000. If you've been watching this channel for the past few months, the only analysis we've done here on this channel, the only thing we've talked about for many months now was that Bitcoin was going to see a break to the downside of the descending triangle and find support just above the golden retrace. And as you see, we did find support just above the golden retrace at about $7,700. Right now, it seems quite likely that Bitcoin is actually finding a low here, the next parabolic low of a larger scale uptrend going into the end of the year here. So let's just move over to the Bitstamp chart that I have mapped out. So right here I have the halvings mapped out on the chart. The first halving here in November of 2012, the next halving here of July of 2016, and of course the one coming up here in May of 2020. So in 2012, we had the halving in November. We broke the all-time high, and we created a longer-term parabolic uptrend. And in 2016, we had the halving in July of 2016. We broke the all-time high, and we had a longer-term uptrend. And right now, Bitcoin is actually on track to do something very similar, where we come up to the all-time high and break it for the halving. Overall, right now, Bitcoin is perfectly on track to do exactly what it's done every single time we've had the halving in the past. In the crypto community, it's very split between people who believe that looking at past price performance is good for predicting the future in Bitcoin. And the other half of the community thinks that's a terrible idea and that you can't just rely on past price performance to predict the future. But the thing is, with Bitcoin, it's very systematic. We have the halving where the mining rewards get cut in half. There's very few ways to actually measure the fundamentals of Bitcoin, which is why we have these hype phases and these long-term bear market phases, because a lot of it is really just based on speculation. So you have long-term periods of uptrends and long-term periods of downtrends. And right now, the way that Bitcoin's price is beginning to shape up here, it's looking extremely similar to every other point where we had the halving take place before breaking the previous all-time high, right? We have this area of higher lows along an upward sloping trend. We have the halving, and then we break the all-time high level. Same thing happened here. We have an upward sloping trend. We have the halving, we break the all-time high level. And right here, we have an upward sloping trend. And as you guys know in this channel, we've been looking for a standard routine correction back to the golden retrace. And we could be very likely looking for a standard upward sloping trend line before the halving and the all-time high break. So as it stands right now, it is extremely likely for Bitcoin to be sitting at all-time high levels during the halving, looking to break the all-time high level. In 2012 to 2013, we had 2 parabolic advances before the all-time high break. In the 2015 to 2016 uptrend, we had 2 parabolic advances before the all-time high break. And looking at Bitcoin right now, we've had 1, and we are looking for potentially our second parabolic advance, testing just below the all-time high. And then the third one would be the all-time high break, right? So we're very likely to do something extremely similar to each halving period right now. For me, looking at structure is more important than looking at any real indicators other than volume, of course. I like to look at the price structure when I'm analyzing the chart. If Bitcoin was going to break below this upward sloping trend line, then that would be a first time that Bitcoin did not hold an upward sloping trend during the halving cycle. And what I mean by halving cycle is just this area right here before the all-time high break. So right now, just like every other parabolic advance in previous bull markets, Bitcoin has held above the golden retrace. And, very likely, on the next push to the upside, Bitcoin would, if you're just looking at the way that this upward sloping trend line is structured, Bitcoin would most likely be finding resistance just above 18,000 actually before getting a pullback to, maybe 12,500 and then looking to come up to the all-time high and break it. So right now, looking at the price of Bitcoin, the next parabolic advance could be sending us to about $18,000 before getting a retrace to the upward sloping trend line or the previous high at 12,500, 13,000 before then bouncing up to the all-time high level and looking for that next break. Everyone always asks, how high is the price of Bitcoin going to go in the next bull market? Well, there's no way to really know that. But, we have a 50,000% gain here. We have a 12,000% gain here. And if you just, divide that by 4 once again, you'd be looking at $100,000 actually. Very likely you'd be looking at about $100,000 Bitcoin. If you just go with 50,000 divided by 4, that's 12. 12,000 divided by 4, that's 3. Everyone's looking for that $100,000 level. And, mathematically, looking at past performance, it's possible. It's quite possible that that does take place. And if that does happen, we would then be looking for another 80% correction. One interesting thing to do is look at the previous all-time high and look at the low of the bear market. So looking at the all-time high, the previous all-time high at $30 and the low of the 2015 bear market here, we had about 400% gains overall going from previous all-time high to previous all-time low. And if you look at the next cycle going from previous all-time high to previous all-time low, that's about 164% gains, right? It's possible that that number actually goes down even further and we get a retrace closer to the previous all-time high. The next bear market could be a pretty harsh one, but this is generally how Bitcoin does form its overall cycles here, and it's possible that we would be reaching the next all-time high in the year of 2021 potentially, just going based off previous data here and how Bitcoin does react to the halving periods. But, guys, that's really all I wanted to discuss today. A lot of people are wondering where the price is headed in the long term here, what we should look out for if Bitcoin is going to be breaking all-time highs. And I would personally be looking for something like this, the next parabolic advance, just keeping us above this upward sloping trend line, moving up to the all-time high level. But of course, guys, if at any point we do break below this upward sloping trend, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a failed halving, but we would be doing something different than we've done in all previous cycles here for Bitcoin. So guys, just keep all this in mind. We should be on this upward sloping trend period here, this phase where we hold an upward sloping trend line before the halving and the break of the all-time high. This is what Bitcoin does routinely, and this is what I'm looking for right now. So if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and do yourselves a favor and sign up for the CryptoWatch platform. It is my preferred platform for charting, trading, looking at news, and just monitoring the overall crypto market and monitoring my overall crypto portfolio. So guys, I will see you all in the next video.